Thomas hadn't meant to take his daughter's umbrella. He'd been running late for a critical board meeting, grabbed what he thought was his reliable black umbrella from the stand, and rushed out. It wasn't until the rain started and he opened it that he realized his mistake. Pink peonies bloomed across the black canvas, a birthday gift his 12-year-old Amy had picked out for herself. He considered turning around to go back home, but the rain was getting heavier, and he was already cutting it close for the meeting. "Just this once," he muttered, hurrying toward the revolving doors of his office, where he'd spent 20 years building a reputation for being thoroughly, impeccably professional. The kind of man who wore perfectly pressed suits and carried sensible black umbrellas. In front of the door, junior associate Sarah Miller stared at the umbrella, then did a double take when she realized who was holding it. "Beautiful umbrella, Mr. Smith," she said, hiding a smile. "It reminds me of Monet's gardens." Thomas opened his mouth to explain, then stopped. "My daughter's an art enthusiast," he heard himself say instead. "She's teaching me to appreciate color." The board meeting was about to begin when CEO Patricia Walsh walked in, soaked despite her expensive raincoat. "Terrible weather," she grumbled. "My umbrella turned inside out on the way here." Without thinking, Thomas offered her his umbrella for her lunch meeting later. She paused, studying the floral pattern, then him, the man known for 100-page risk assessment reports and conservative investment strategies. "I didn't know you had this side to you, Thomas," she said, accepting the umbrella with a thoughtful look. Throughout the day, the umbrella traveled. Patricia lent it to Keith from marketing, who passed it to Diana in HR. By afternoon, stories were circulating about Thomas's unexpected umbrella, and with them, other stories people had kept to themselves before. How he helped his daughter with her art projects every Sunday. How he'd once been an amateur photographer before getting serious about his career. In the break room, Thomas overheard two interns discussing their idea for a creative advertising campaign, one they'd been afraid to present because it was too outside the box. "But if Mr. Smith can carry a flower umbrella," one said, "maybe different isn't bad." After hearing the intern's conversation, something stirred in Thomas that he hadn't felt in years. A spark of excitement, a small flame of curiosity in a world that had become routine. For the first time in a long while, he began to wonder if perhaps there was more to his identity than his rigid professional image. By 5:30, the rain hadn't let up. On his way out of the office, under now familiar stares and grins, Thomas found the pink peony umbrella next to his desk. Slightly damp, but perfectly fine. A small note was attached to the handle. "Thanks for the color on a gray day, P." He smiled to himself, appreciating the playfulness of it all, and braced himself for the downpour. As he walked through the city streets beneath the canopy of pink blooms, he noticed something. People were smiling at him. Strangers, who would have normally hurried past without making eye contact, were glancing up at the umbrella, and then at him, with something like warmth in their expressions. A woman with her dog gave him a nod and said, "Beautiful umbrella." "Thank you," he responded, more easily than he expected. He reached the school just as Amy was coming out. Her eyes went wide when she saw the umbrella. "Dad, you took mine!" "I know," Thomas said, chuckling as he knelt down to her level. "It was a mistake this morning, but now I think it's my favorite umbrella." Amy grinned, clearly pleased. "See? I told you it was the best." As they walked home together under the bursts of pink and green, Thomas felt lighter, less burdened by all the seriousness that had wrapped itself around him over the years. "Maybe tomorrow you can help me pick out something else colorful to wear," he said, almost without thinking. Amy looked up at him with surprise. "Really?" "Why not? I've been playing it safe for too long." "Maybe I can paint your briefcase next," she laughed. Thomas laughed too. And as they turned the corner, headed home in the gentle rain, he realized that breaking his routine, however accidentally, had taught him something valuable. Being yourself didn't mean being rigid. Sometimes it meant being flexible enough to let a little color, a little fun, and even a bouquet of pink peonies into your world. Because in the end, life, like that unexpected umbrella, wasn't just about keeping dry. It was about finding joy in the storm. And with his favorite umbrella in hand and his daughter by his side, Thomas knew he was ready to embrace a little more of the unexpected every day.